What is your most memorable hiking trip? If you asked me this question 10 years ago, my answer would have been none. So I grew up in Vietnam with a beautiful long coastline that my whole family loved, and that's where we went every summer. So the concept of hiking or camping was just altogether foreign to me until I came to the US for college. So when my college professor told me to wear boots to the first class field visit, of course I show up in my most fashionable leather boots. That just go to tell you how ignorant I was about this whole new thing. And for the last 10 years, I think my hiking ability has been increasing ever so slightly, but my whole mindset changed last weekend when we went on a much anticipated girls trip to Mono Hot Spring. We were so excited and really looked forward to this trip. So the first morning we got there, we could not wait to hit the trail. So we followed the map that was provided at camp, and we went to the south side where we passed through this stream with a rock path that looked a lot like the white pieces in a Chinese Go game, but much less symmetrical. And then we went over to this log bridge that has like two big logs bended together quite securely, you couldn't tell. So when I was walking across this log bridge, I felt like, oh, I'm using my entire accumulative balance sense in this little journey that's about 10 minutes at this point. So we got to the first hot spring. It was great. Here's a hot spring. There was nobody there. The scenery was so nice. So I was ready to settle down. This is my hot spring. I'm going to claim it. But my friends wouldn't have it. They wanted to continue on to the adventure. Now, let me introduce you to my two close friends. One of them is an experienced solo backpacker in different countries, and the other one has been a rock climber since her childhood. So these people are like mountain goats in comparison to me. So of course I followed them. We went to this fork in the road where there was two paths forward. One of them is through this meadow with really tall grass and a really muddy road in between. And the other one was not muddy because it was so tall with these rocks stacked on top of each other. And we eventually found out that both of them converged at this stone wall. Stone wall, so tall you couldn't see past it. Oh, great. Let's go to the nice hot springs, right, guys? No, my friends wouldn't give up. One of them climbed up on top and they say, hey, after we got through this, it's just, a trail. It's going to be better. So of course, I trusted them. And then for the next 10 minutes, I went on the most difficult climb of my entire life. At one point, I was propelling myself against this piece of log that was jammed by two rocks so that I can climb against this completely flat, just wide molded rock that was so tall. And the entire way, it felt like a nightmarish game of Twister because I couldn't find where to put my hand or leg. And the only way that I got past it was through the patience and the care and the love of my friends. Once we get past that stone wall, I found out that trail was an overstatement. It was more like we needed to make our own path by pushing this tall grass aside. So the scenery was really nice. It was just a nice, beautiful sunny day, and I was with, my two close friends. So we happily marched forward for about another 15 minutes when we realized that we're completely lost. So this was nowhere on the map. We've gone way closer than we should have until we hit the next hot spring, and all our phones did not have any reception. So great, this is when we turn back, right? No, my friends wouldn't give up. So finally we saw this cute little car just going down the road. And that's when we realized that we are so close to the road. And on our map, it shows that the hot spring should be right around the corner. And it was. So we finally hit this little waterfall or stream with this nice rope that was provided that is so considerate. And for the first time in my life, I climbed down this rope to go to this beautiful meadow. And there was Little Eden in all her glory. That's the hot springs that we wanted to go, and we finally made it. It was so magnificent to see just the view from up high. We see the hill and everything surrounding it. And after the hike we've been through, this honestly felt to me like a oasis. So I really enjoyed the warm water, the mineral-rich mud, the company, and the serenity. And when I looked at my muddy shoes and just the scenery right there, it hit. At any point throughout this journey, it would have been perfectly reasonable for me to turn back. But if I did, I wouldn't have been there. Hiking was strenuous, but it was also really fun because all I needed to do was to put one foot in front of another. My goal was set, my mind was clear, and life was just simple. Through this journey, every time I wanted to give up, my friends were the one that pushed me on. So if you're going on a journey that you don't want to give up, be with those that will push you on. And I realized that at the end of every rocky, muddy road, there may just be a nice hot springs waiting to wash all your dirt away. So that's my most memorable hiking trip. How about you? I would love to hear in the future. Thank you, and back to you, Madam Toastmaster.